Ocala's information station, 1370 WOCA.
Ocala.
All right, 10 minutes before 10 o'clock. Thank you for tuning in. Gosh, one of the recurring subjects that happens on radio shows in Ocala, probably in every community, is the local elected officials' role that they play in our lives. And we're coming up on a big one. It's for the county commission, and we have in the studio a very distinguished gentleman. His name is Don Browning. I met him for the first time yesterday. And check this out, Robin. He's a U.S. Navy veteran. Thank you for your service, sir.
Thank you. Well, I appreciate that.
Looks like you've done a lot. You were elected to city council. You're a businessman, a civic leader, an artist, a race car driver. Wow. The CEO and founder of Browning Forms and Systems, and it goes on and on and on. I don't want to take up all your time giving your credentials, but you certainly have a lot of them. You're running for County Commission District 3.
Yes, sir. County Commission District 3. It's where I live. I live on Lake Weir and have lived here since this iteration, since 1998. I was here in the 50s and went off to Navy and some other things, came back to Central Florida in 1972.
There's so many things on your plate when you're a county commissioner or any office, really. Is there any one thing that you would like to tackle if you are elected?
Yes. And here's what it is. I've been a successful businessman, and the way when you put your capital at risk, it's what we call pro forma thinking. You look at supply, demand, you look at your customer base, you look at the components of an issue, and the way you do it, the way you succeed is every day, every issue, you work it out the best you can. It's a continuum. It isn't necessarily out of gas or full of gas. It's somewhere in the middle. Okay, and you get the most you can for the customers. So in this case, it's the taxpayers, it's the population of Marion County, and we have to get right. We've got to dig right down into each issue. One
of the things that I think everybody hopes for in their elected officials, county commission in this case, is their ability to work with the others on your team, because you're never alone, unless you're the president.
Absolutely.
So you've got 4 others that you have to work with.
Well, and it's not have to work with, you get to work with them, and they're beautiful minds. People really, I find genius in everyone that I associate with. When I was on the commission in Winter Springs, they said, well, why in the world, how does Don Browning always get his way? Well, it's not always, but it's quite often. And the reason is I always know I have my vote. Someone of the 5.
Do you have your vote?
I have my own vote. You
Right.
just got to think it through. So I have my own vote. Someone within this group likes my arguments. I'm a theory of argumentation person. I break down arguments into categorical logic. So somebody likes what I have to say. Now we've got 2. It only takes 3, so I've got 3 people. I only have to bat like 30%.
And I think what you just demonstrated for us in that very quick and articulated thing is the fact that you can negotiate.
Yes, sir. Absolutely. And that's the way it is. That continuum.
You have to be a negotiator.
That's the way it is.
So what do you want to negotiate for? Do you want to negotiate for more jobs?
Well, I'll give you an
example.
Better jobs? Jobs, that's the key. And the way you do jobs, the way jobs really come about is a customer base. It isn't government. Government,
Absolutely.
So often they'll talk about the fact that they're bringing in all these jobs. That isn't the way it really works. You have to service your client, your customer base. In this case, it happens to be 330-some thousand people in Marion County. So with that said, you see what they need. You analyze it. You look at it statistically, like take for instance this compressed natural gas thing. You can ask any of the listeners, did you drive to work today, or will you drive your compressed natural gas vehicle today? And the answer will be no.
Right.
No, we don't have one. We don't do that.
Right.
It costs too much. What if I gave you $5,000 to change your vehicle? Robin, if I gave you $5,000, would you do it? Well, when you find out it costs about $10,000 to to convert it, you'd say, no, Don, I'd be in the hole. And you'd have to get a V8 because if 6 won't, it doesn't make as much power, and various issues like that. And there's only one gas station and that type of thing. So when I'm on the commission, it's that kind of common sense. I mean, this is easy. And you just say, well, let's see, we have 100% of the people that don't use it. We have a county commission that says, oh, we have to do this. Well, wait a minute, we're speculating on commodity futures.
Right.
I trade commodity futures. I would never go more than 30
Is this an
years.
issue that the county commission is going to be working on?
That's what they do. That's why they got into this thing for a 10-year span.
Okay.
They were going to they were going to beat the market on the fluctuation of the increase and decrease, the comparison of diesel, gas, and compressed gas.
Right.
And they were going to catch the low end of the market. Well, it ends up they didn't. And they don't. And you can't. I would never go out that far, ever, in a commodity futures.
Wow.
So the way I analyze it, I just say, hey, nobody in the county's doing it. Why are we doing it, spending millions and paying a penalty every year? I don't know if you know. All the taxes you'd probably pay in the next 10 years are wasted just in the penalty because we don't use enough of this. Because they bought, it's like a loaf of bread is...
oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. So this whole natural gas thing is just a big waste of money.
It's a terrible waste of money.
I didn't even know this was an issue.
Oh, the firemen have parked them. They will not even use them. You can't run it on diesel. There's one gas station. So if I'm in Dunellen and you work for the county, a quarter of a tank, got to head back to Ocala. There's one gas station. We gave them... I don't know.
So if you got rid of these and you got rid of the penalty, would that increase the pay for the firefighters?
That money then goes back in the general fund, and now we get to do something with it. That's just like running this station. You've got a general fund. You've got a checkbook. Don't go wasting. If you waste the money somewhere,
would that increase the wages of the firefighters?
That is so easy. Yes, absolutely. Legitimate things that you pay for. You have to have money to do it.
Right.
You can't just increase.
So you're saying it's there
taxes.
already.
It's there already, and you're wasting it. You toss it off. Like, for instance, we have a tourism tax. But for this golf thing, they came right out of the general fund and gave $250,000 2 years in a row for what we call a food court, or just to put this thing on. Wait a minute. That has to go to something real, that is real governmental responsibility.
Does that bring any money in at all, that whole golf thing?
Everything brings in money. Look at the station. Look at the newspaper. Look at the Star Banner. Look, everybody does something good. You bring in more than a lot of other things. You could justify yourself if you wanted to be governmental and say, you know what, we bring in 7,000 jobs. We do this. Look, it's not provable. What is provable is that a lot of people listen, and a lot of people, patronize your advertisers, and you have a viable business. That's what counts.
What are your thoughts on the county subsidizing businesses? We've had a few examples of that. I think E1 was an example.
Yeah. Total disaster.
Right.
Look, if you can't make it on your own, I don't mind maybe getting somebody started $20,000 or something. But like, for instance, 4 years ago, the Chamber of Commerce, we had a proud Chamber of Commerce. I belonged to it. I was man of the year on some things. It was a proud organization, about the size of the staff right here, about 4 people, and they were broke. They had $12,000 borrowed for salaries. So they started getting $20,000 a month of your tax money, subsidized, bang, for whatever they wanted. Now, the problem with that is that along with it came an entitlement of the sovereignty of Marion County, the governmental power of Marion County. Well, that's a mistake, because what happens is it oozes out. Here you have, say this room is Marion County. Well, it's under the sunshine. It's under statutes on conflict of interest, all these things. As soon as I take it out and I slip it into a private company, all those rules go off.
Don Browning, thank you for coming in. It's so quick, and when you have interesting things to say, I know it flies. Do you have a website?
Yes. DonBrowningCommission.com. VoteForDonBrowning.com.
Okay.
But just participate. Just go vote.
We'll share the website addresses when we put the video online. Thank you for coming in today.
Well, you're
really
welcome.
Interesting conversation.
Thank you for having me.
Too quick. I went too quick. We'll be right back.
Fox
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Tomorrow morning, we should know who Donald Trump's running mate will be.
Trump has been holding a flurry of meetings with finalists, including with Indiana Governor Mike Pence, who calls himself a Christian, a conservative, and a Republican in that order.
I'm honored to be considered and humbled to be considered.